MERS people at? If you're a MERS person, raise your hand.
Oh yeah, see that pace?
Boo.
It's only a lack of education. That's what it is.
Boo.
Where's the sub 2 people at?
Yo, what up? There we go.
Hold on real quick, just so you know, I've met Pace and Jamil a few months ago, but I've been hanging out with Pace and Jamil today, and I think they have trash talk St. Louis no less than 10 times. In case that changes your mind, Pace and Jamil are not fans of St.
Listen,
Louis.
here's what really happened, okay? We were upstairs and we're like, Sam, tell us the story of the arch. He said McDonald's was here building the Golden Arches, but they hated this place so much they stopped at half and left.
That's what Sam said, guys.
Sam said that.
That is not what I said or what happened.
St. Louis is amazing.
You're saying that now.
No, it really is. We have enjoyed the day. You guys have put together an amazing team, and this building is so freaking cool. Guys, give it up for this team for putting this all together.
Oh, yeah.
We are so lucky that people do this kind of stuff. 20, 30 years ago, like nobody would do free meetups for any of this kind of stuff. This is so cool. We meet people that are lending money. We're meeting people that are doing deals. Who's rapping?
Let's see what's going on. Just keep going.
Like they got technology they don't even know how to control. You know what I'm saying?
But AC/DC at a real estate meetup, I like it. That's only in St. Louis.
Okay. Before we do the little Burr versus Sub 2 battle, I want to tell you guys a quick story about why I love meetups. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, most people come and they'll just like go, what's your favorite color? Why do you love St. Louis? Why I love St. Louis, right? And you'll do kind of like the surface level stuff. And a couple of years ago, I go, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to attack this differently. I'm going to ask a question to every single person. What is the question I ask every single person I meet?
Why are we doing
That's a good one. I like that one. What do you have and what do you need? I always ask that question. So a couple of years ago, this is 3 years ago, where this started paying off like really big. And I was being really strategic about all these meetups we were going to. So we're in Utah. It's Jamil, myself, a bunch of other people, and about 200 people. And I walk up to a gentleman, his name's John, and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? Okay, cool. I go, what do you have? What are you working on? What do you need, right? Similar to what we talked about, right, Laura? What do you have? You have a mobile home park that you're like, I have a problem with the zoning, and we talked through all this stuff, right? Was it good advice?
Yes, it was.
I love how every answer she gives me is she's unsure of her answer. Yeah. Anyway, so I walk up to John, and John tells me what he has. He goes, I have a big problem. Like, what problem do you have? He says, I'm building this big multifamily project. We're $1 million short. We're a little over on our renovation, but we're like right at the finish line, 98% done. We need $1 million. That's what I need. That's what I have. That's what I need. I go, okay, great. If I help you find that $1 million, can I get inserted into this project? He goes, yeah, duh, obviously, right? How many people in here are looking for money for projects? Not just hard money, because we have hard money, right? The hard money team is right here. But like private money, right? You need like gap money, you need construction money, you need that kind of stuff, right? So I go to John, I say, if I find the $1 million, can I insert myself in the deal? He says, absolutely. Cool. I don't even move. I just tell John, I go, I'm gonna go find the money for you. And I make a pivot. Literally, my left foot doesn't even move. And I turn to my left and I talk to a guy named Jody Evans. And I go, hey, what's your name? He's Jody Evans. Great, what do you have? What do you need? He goes, dude, I got $1 million and I have no idea what to do with it. That's literally his problem. He had a 1031 exchange. He's like, I have 20 days to put this money into something. And I was like, if I could help you find a place to put that money, would you be okay if I got paid on that transaction, even if it wasn't my deal? What do you think Jody said? Sure. He's like, absolutely. So I take a step back and I go, you two guys need to meet each other. Anyway, I ended up getting like 3% of the project. I think I'll end up making, over the life of the deal, like $1.8 million on that one introduction, which is pretty awesome. Pretty cool, right? Now I do this all the time. It's not just deals, right? How many people have gotten deals from Sam Primm's meetups, or sold deals, or gotten a partner, or recruited people, or whatever, right? It's so much more than just money or deals. It's recruiting, it's becoming battle buddies, it's like, hey, can I shadow you and see what your business actually looks like? All of those types of things, okay? Does anybody have anything specific that you're looking for tonight that maybe we didn't even say in the last 30 seconds? What are you looking for? What do you need?
That million would be nice.
$1 million would be nice. You guys got plenty of that. I'm looking at Sam's shoes. I know you guys got plenty of million. What does somebody in here need tonight?
57,000.
57,000, perfect, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for having courage. Can you stand up for a second and introduce yourself, use the mic and say, hi, my name is, I need 57,000 for what?
Okay.
Give it up for her.
My name is Sarah, and I'm in my third live and flip, but I'm getting really tired of moving after 2 years, so I don't pay capital gains tax.
Yeah.
My gift is luxury design. So my last house that I lived and flipped, I bought for $280, sold for $460.
Well
Nice.
done.
Yeah, and so I do have a gift for that, but then this house I'm in, way over my head. I think Philip called it property rich. And so I'm out of money to finish the last bathroom, the master bath. And so,
57
yeah,
G's for a master
no,
bath?
No, I was gonna.
What is this, a
No.
I was just like, whoa.
So here's the thing.
What's in that bathroom?
House on the best street. 400 is listed for the houses across the street are $1 million.
Okay.
And so I knew it was an investment, and no, I only want about 15 or 20 for the bathroom, but I am in debt. I put a roof, gutters, garage door. I gutted the house.
I love it.
And it's going to be amazing, but I'm out of money.
Okay, can I give you somebody who has money?
Please.
Okay, cool. Give it up for her, please. Hey, where's Gerald Rojas? He's like, stand up, brother. Okay, he has not been to a meetup in how long? 4 or 5 years? Okay, Jamil, do you know where you and I met him? You wouldn't remember because I had a conversation with him. I've had a great relationship with him. This is so perfect that he's here at this meetup. Where did we meet him? Do you have any clue?
No.
He used to live in Fresno, California.
Get out of here. At that meetup?
That freaking dope meetup we went to. It was
So
like
good.
a movie theater. It was so cool.
Wow.
We meet there. And how much money do you think you gave me over the years, like turnover? Millions? Millions. Okay, this is for fix and flips. He helped me buy my office on Val Vista. He
Wow.
helped me buy that office. We bought it Morby method with creative finance, and he was our lender on half of the money. He's given us tons of money, and he just told me today. Now, I'm not saying he's a perfect fit for you. I'm just letting you know that there's people in the room that need money for projects that can make more money, and there's people in the room that you don't know about that have given me millions of dollars over the years. Okay? He's right here in this market. He left Fresno, California, came here, and he says to me at the beginning of the meetup, he goes, dude, I feel so lazy. I'm like, why? He goes, because lenders, all we do is just make money on giving people money. And so there's people in this room. How many people, if I had an amazing deal today, and I needed $10,000, and you knew you could make money with me, how many people could come up with 10,000 bucks today? Okay, how many people could come up with 25 grand today?
Let's go.
Still, like 80% of the room. So there's plenty of money in this room. And what I want to give everybody permission when we break and when the Burr strategy beats out creative finance on this little battle we're going to do right now, I want to give you guys permission. Don't ask people the surface level questions. Ask them the question. Say, hey, I have this. I'm trying to find this tonight. Okay? Now, some of you guys, the biggest problem is you don't know what you want, right? In fact, I asked the question, I saw your body language, and you go, here's what your brain said. I don't know what I want.
I got nothing. Yeah, you're right.
Interesting, right? So what I would do is think about that. And when we break, make sure that you go home tonight, not with a new connection, but with, I found somebody that has a need, and I found people that have those needs, and either A, I could find what I need, or B, I could find something that somebody else needs. That's the purpose of a meetup, right? You are gonna come here, I'm gonna tell you right now, you are gonna come here and not bring up the fact that you need $57,000 to anybody because you are too afraid to bring it up.
Clearly, I was not too afraid.
Well, okay. But I had to encourage you to do the thing. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not know of you before 2 days ago.
Oh, who cares about me?
No. I'm saying, and then the video today, and
Yeah.
I was like, this dude's gonna ask, what is it that I want? And I knew in my
Holy
heart.
crap.
And I knew in my heart, go prepared because someone's gonna ask you what you need.
Wow.
Yeah.
We do our homework in St. Louis.
Let's go. Nice. Well done.
That's freaking awesome. This was on the.
And she sat front row, Pace. This is not this woman here is here for business.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I freaking love it. Okay, cool. So that's the purpose of the meetup, and I'll even be asking the same question. Gerald, who when I met him years ago, I had the same thing. What do you need? He's like, I have money. I need a place to put it. I go, great. I don't have money, and I need a place to put your money. And we did business together for years. He became a really good friend of mine. And then why did we stop using your money?
I think you stopped flipping.
We stopped flipping. Yeah, I don't flip as much as I used to. I do a lot of buy and hold, and I don't need money because I use creative finance. So.
So you have a TV show about flipping, but you don't flip?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Just put the dots together.
I just want to confirm the reason I wasn't invited to this square off was because you guys make $200, $400, $500 a month, and my shit's like $50,000, right?
Yeah, we want to
Just wanted to confirm that. Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool. That was awesome. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And do you have money right now? No, you're not all the way out.
Everybody look at him.
Here's the thing about lenders too, okay? Lenders are freaking cool because they're friends with other lenders. And if he doesn't have money, he has people who have money, okay? And I would go talk to him, and I would say, have you ever borrowed money from people like private money lenders?
No.
Okay, in the very least, talk to him and go, how would I want to talk to a private money lender? How should I present this? What kind of questions would you ask? At least be friends with him. Because he's super connected and he has a lot of money.
Also, who in here is a Gator? I know we've got a bunch of you guys have come and said something to me.
They got money.
There are Gators in the room here that have money as well. So there's not only private money lenders to talk to, there's Gator lenders in here that can help you as well.
Okay, I also do lending. Okay, I will do lending. I don't do what hard money lenders do, right? I'm not a first position person. I'm typically a second position person. It means I will do riskier loans, but I would want to know what my return is, right? So have you calculated that? Yeah, I don't need to know the answer right now. Have you calculated what I would make?
Not yet.
Okay, so that is something a private money lender is going to want to know, right? So while we're going through this battle that is basically a waste of time, we already know what the result is. Burr's strategy is going to win. It's just going to win. What I would do is calculate like what you would be willing to give up to a private money lender that would put their money in second lien position, because I imagine you have a loan on the property currently. Okay, so that we're not going to take that loan away, right? I've got to come in and let's say I give you a check for $57,000. I'm going to put a lien against that property in second lien position, which means I have more risk than the first lien position lender. What are you willing to give me to entice me to give you that $57,000? You got to come up with that, right? Make sense?
Right.
Cool. Any girls in here like it when a guy picked you up from a date when you were younger, maybe your age right now, and he pulls up, you get in the car, and he turns to you and says, "Where are we going?"
No.
Any girls in here appreciate that about a man? No, you like a man with a plan, right? So my point is, private money lenders, they love a borrower with a plan.
Yes.
They don't want to hear from you that says, well, what would it be worth to you? You don't want to say that to a private money lender. You want to say, hey, I'm willing to do this. Does that work for you? Make sense? Okay, cool. There's our only lesson of the day.
I doubt that.
Okay, cool. How do you want to do the battle? Have Jamil do the square up, or have look at?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have much of a plan. We decided to do this about an hour ago. So I think
cool.
we'll just have a conversation about the birds versus sub 2 because they're both good, but some have their strengths and some have their weaknesses.
Let's do that.
All right, cool. Luke's going to MC. Lucas and Jamil MC a little bit.
Yeah.
Lucas has promised to help me out.
I'm going to stand on the far side over here.
Perfect.
I'm in my corner of the ring. You're in your corner of the
Sub
ring.
2 and then buy cash here. So
Yep.
We need to talk about that a little bit too. So let's start on the front end. So acquisition-wise, Sam, tell us about finding a bird deal, what that looks like on the acquisition process, and maybe how that's better than sub 2.
So I like birds better than sub 2 on the acquisition side because I feel like there's a lot more opportunity and it's a lot easier to acquire. When you do sub 2, yes, there are opportunities out there, but you have to convince the person, or create a finance for that part, you have to convince the person not only to sell you their house, also to trust you to take over their loan. And a lot of people, the number numbers won't work, or they're not interested in that. They're just not wanting to go down the path of, hey, yes, make my mortgage payments for me. So I feel like I have a much better chance of buying the property if I go, hey, I will give you $125,000 cash for your property. You close tomorrow. It's off the books. You're done. You move on. Your life's over. You're done. As opposed to trying to convince them to pay over their mortgage or do something creative in your life.
I love that. I disagree with it entirely. Just kidding. I actually agree with it entirely. I think if I want to buy a very specific house, creative finance is challenging for that, right? If I go, I want to buy that house, it's on the market. Creative finance doesn't always work for the seller, right? However, I'm not looking on market for sellers. I'm looking on expired listings. I'm looking for foreclosures. I'm looking for somebody who's in pain already. I'm not wasting my time with on-market, usually with agents. If I am going to do an on-market deal, I'm calling agents that have had their house on the market for over 120 days. Not wasting my time with like, oh, it's a fresh listing. So the BRRRR strategy definitely has an advantage that you can pick and choose what house you want to do. However, here's the disadvantage. Who do you think is going to be more skilled in the long run? The person who learned how to overcome objections, or the person that just paid retail for a property that was listed on the market? So for me, right, think about this. Alex Hormozy said something really cool. He says, if we were going to create a race of humans, like just a superhuman, and we wanted that human to be like a super badass, could do amazing things, would we want that human to go through challenging things or easy things to become that superhuman? Okay, so I choose sub to and seller finance because I want to acquire skills to become a stronger negotiator.
I also heard Alex Ramoth the other day say that the BRRRR is better than sub to.
But I just want to hop in here real quick, because if I'm looking at this like an analogy of like going on a date, right? So Sam with the BRRRRs, right? He's like, opportunities are everywhere. Basically, Sam will kiss any girl. Really? No. He's just like, whatever, I'll kiss her, right? So that's Sam. Well, and I appreciate what Pace is saying. Pace is saying, no, I want them to be challenged. I just want to kiss a girl with that that challenges me. I want her to give me a lot of drama, a lot of headaches, all the things. I want it to be really hard. I want it to be terrible. In my instance, right, it's like they actually offer me something of value. I get to walk away with like tons of money every single time that I get involved in a deal. So I mean, I appreciate what you're doing. You show love everywhere. I understand what you're doing. You're sharpening your skills. For me, I'm still just pocketing all the dough.
It seems like wholesale is beating both of us at this moment.
If you're talking about kissing, then yeah.
All right, let's talk about upfront financing and cash required to take down these deals, whether that be a BRRRR. Sam, I'll let you start first, and then we'll kick it over to Pace. What does that look like from a BRRRR strategy?
Yeah, so I'll get ahead of this a little bit.
This is what you do if you're rapping against Eminem.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
This is what he's doing. He's going to take all my attacks away from me right now.
Yeah, exactly what I'm going to do. All right, so I hear Pace talk a lot about when you're doing the BRRRR's method, you get your credit rating. When you buy it, you get your credit rating. When you refinance it, so you're going to run out of credit. While that can be accurate, it's also inaccurate. I have bought 95% of my BRRRR's deals with private lenders, and not one of them has the ability, or I guess they have the ability to, but not one of them has ever rated my credit score. So when I buy the property, my credit score is not hit. And I build relationships with small local banks on the refinance side, so my credit gets rated once a year from the 3 banks I use. So we bought 300 properties, and my credit score gets rated 3 times a year. So it doesn't really come into effect. And he's going to talk about you don't even need a credit score, any of that, which is true with creative financing, but it's a minimal thing. Your credit gets rated when you buy a car. Like it's okay to have your credit rated a few times a year as long as you're not overdoing it. So my credit score doesn't go down because I get it rated once or a few times a year. So the upfront financing is a little bit easier, and we'll get into that.
How much cash is required out of pocket to the BRRRR?
0.
All right, kick it over to Pace.
If you do it properly, obviously.
Yeah, if you do it, he's right. He's right about that. BRRRR strategy, you can do private money, especially like Gerald's doing a bunch of deals for me, so he'll just buy the deal straight out, private money. I don't need hard money, which is great. Did you ever run my credit? You bad lender, you. Yeah, so you're right, 100%. The biggest challenge with the BRRRR strategy that I run into is that even when people are doing it the right way, very rarely can they get all of their money out of a refinance, right? So they get stuck and all their money gets stuck into a deal. Whereas with creative finance, I can do a lot of deals with no money, and I can do a lot of deals with no private money either, right? So I don't have to do a refinance. That's the other beautiful thing about creative finance is on the front end, I'm locking in my interest rate. I don't have to refinance, right? I know what I'm gonna have. Whereas with the BRRRR strategy, what if I bought a BRRRR deal in the beginning of 2022? And I bought it, by the way, I bought 5. And I was planning on refinancing, getting all my money out. Guess what ended up happening?
Interest rates went up.
Interest rates went up. Was I planning on that?
No.
Was anybody planning on that?
No.
A lot of people got their teeth kicked in, right? And so that is kind of the challenge, is that I can't depend on the BRRRR strategy when I'm doing my refinance, especially if it's going to be 4 months, 5 months, 9 months down the road after I buy the property with whatever, private money, hard money. I then refinance, I stabilize, I get my renter in there, I stabilize, and I go to my lender. And the lender says, well, you know, Jerome, Uncle Powell says rates are here, and it made a lot of my deals not pencil. And so upfront financing with the BRRRR strategy can kill a lot of deals. In fact, I would say the BRRRR strategy in the last 18 months has really been annihilated. It's basically, gangsters are still operating, right? Gangsters, like badasses in BRRRR, are still operating. Most people, I would say, that are acquiring have pivoted to creative finance the last 18 months because it's just killed a lot of deals.
Yeah, real quick, we bought several BRRRR deals in 2019, and then rates dropped and we cash flow even more because rates go
Love
down
that.
about as much as they go up. So that's something that we got.
And just real quick here for, to ruin both of your days. So, you talk 20%, interest rates. I got just 2 words that trash both of it. Double escrow.
Yeah, I love that.
That's it.
Love that.
I don't need nothing.
You got some rentals though, right?
That's it.
You got some rentals though too, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, yeah. So you pay cash for most of your stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Yeah, I don't pay cash, my buyer does.
Your buyer pays cash, okay.
Yeah. Double escrow. That's it. They come to the table with the money. I just had to find the deal. They come to the table with the money, and what's left over is mine.
Okay.
Oh, he's talking about his wholesale deals. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, let's get into the renovation side of things. A lot of times, a BRRRR deal needs some sort of renovation to maximize the value and be able to recoup all your money, right? So, talk to us about that, on what renovations look like for the BRRRRs, and then maybe what renovations look like for the sub-2 community.
Yeah, so you do have to renovate in the BRRRR's strategy if you want to get all your equity out and make your property rent ready. The beautiful thing about that is if I rehab a property and do it the right way, I have my pick of super quality tenants. There's granite countertops, there's brand new flooring, everything is brand new, and there's more quality tenants out there than quality landlords, so I'm gonna get really, really quality tenants. Yes, there's some more work up front, but the tenants are better, it appraises for more, there's more equity for me, I get more cash flow, and my maintenance is extremely limited because I was just in the house this prior year. So I'm not gonna have to come out of pocket cash flow if you're buying a property sub-2 or a property that's already occupied or a property that you didn't rehab because you didn't need to. You're gonna get eaten alive by maintenance, and then you're not gonna have your as good pay tenants. A little more work up front, but I'm willing to do the work for the benefits, and I'll even kiss a lot of people to get there.
Yes. You gotta, what do they say? You gotta kiss a lot of frogs to get the prince?
I believe so.
Yeah. Sub-2 and seller finance is not all that different in the ones that need the renovations, right? The ones that need the renovations, I've got to go to a guy like Gerald and go, hey, I need private capital. I put him in second lien position. Or what's great about creative finance, I can just bring him on as my partner. You guys can do the same thing. And I call them pimps, private money partners. So they become my private money partner, not my private money lender, which is nice. But the advantage I would say that sub-2 and seller finance has is that I will get a lot of deals, especially from 2019, 2020, 2021, where people are now trying to sell, and they're just 2 years old, they've been lived in for a couple of years, and I'll take over a mortgage with almost no money out of pocket without having to have a renovation to put on the market. However, you are right. If you spend money, you're gonna get a little higher quality tenant. I choose in a lot of those houses, I go, ooh, this is ready, and I throw it right on the market. So I think for a new person that's maybe not equipped to do as many renovations or have a full-blown system, creative finance has a little bit of an advantage in that regard.
Okay, so would you say most of the houses that you're buying sub 2 require some sort of small renovation, like a 5 or 10?
Every house does, yeah. I mean, I would like to lie and say no house needs a renovation, but I also agree with what Sam's saying, is I don't want to get a call month 1 from my tenant that's like, light bulbs are out, microwave is not working, and we didn't fix a bunch of stuff. So I would say our average deal is $5,000.
Okay, like a quick turn or something, okay.
Yeah, like paint a couple walls, fix some drywall, light bulbs, get rid of the toilet issues and all that kind of stuff.
You guys talk about LTRs, like tenant-wise?
Yeah.
LTRs?
Yeah.
Jamil, how much rehab? do you
Well, the wholesaler says, what's a renovation?
Here's a question on this exact topic. I stopped doing burrs about 2020-ish, 2021. What I found, and I'm sure there's new loan products that were not available back then, but I found a lot of the exit strategies I wanted to do with my creative finance deals, I can do whatever I want. Whereas a lot of my lenders in my bird deals were like, we don't finance short-term rentals. We don't finance midterm rentals. We don't finance those types of things. Is that a problem still, or has that been mitigated with new loan products?
There's definitely some new products that come out, especially on the short-term rental game. Midterm's not as big of a deal to the lenders because it's a little bit longer, a little more secure. But there have been more short-term products come out there. But that goes a little bit to go with the relationships that you build with banks through the burst. So the small local banks can kind of do whatever they want to a certain degree.
Right.
So then they're a little. If you build a relationship, they're willing to do a little bit more.
I love it.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about equity. So we're building in the equity with the burst strategy. We're forcing that 20 to 30% equity, and then we start building that equity with debt pay down and appreciation over time. So I'd love you to just hit on equity real quick, and then kind of what the equity looks like on a sub 2 deal and how you keep yourself safe in that regard.
Yeah, so I think a lot of this is how you structure, which I'm sure you're going to get into it. You can structure a sub 2 deal without much equity or with equity if you want. The beautiful thing about the BRRRR method is it's not going to work out unless you have 20-30% equity. Every single BRRRR deal that we perform properly on, we can sell and make 20-30%, so depending on the property price, 40, 50, 60 grand, but you have to have the discipline to keep it. So if you do the BRRRR deal the right way, you're going to have 20, 30 grand in equity, and then immediately you're going to get the property growth over time and the debt paid out. So I think for the most part, there's a little more initial equity in most BRRRR deals, but I want your take on the sub 2 side.
What I learned is that equity didn't mean anything in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and all the way to 2011. Did not matter at all.
I was in college then, so I would.
Yeah. And same thing with me. I wasn't in the business at the time. And so for me, the big thing that I would want a newer person to focus on, which is what I focused on, is what is my ability to manage based on the cash flow of the property. Because again, equity comes and equity goes, but the cash should always flow, is my saying. And I see a lot of people that will buy a bad deal. Sometimes BRRRR, even creative finance, they'll buy a deal just to buy a deal, right? It's on both sides. They'll buy a bad deal that's not cash flowing. What does it matter if you have equity? Oh, well, I can offload it. Great. Shouldn't have bought the deal in the first place. With creative finance, the great thing is I can buy a deal today that has no equity. I can even buy a deal, believe it or not, here's an interesting one. I bought a $600,000 mobile home park from a wholesaler, didn't know what he was doing. Sorry, I had to pause there for a second. It was actually a TTP student, okay? One of Brent Daniel's students came to me, and he's like, hey, I've got this deal in Yuma, Arizona, and I've been offering this guy, $350 to buy this mobile home park. And I said, okay, yeah, that's about the cash offer, right? Like retail on that thing is probably $500,000. It needs some renovations. It's got some vacancy, and somebody could build some value into it. And it's worth 500 grand. What did I buy it for? I just told you a couple minutes ago. 600 grand. I bought it for 600 grand. So let's figure out how we can structure this. Sam already brought it up. I went to the TTP student. I go, what does the seller want? They go, he wants 600 grand. I go, I'll give him 600 grand. But what would I want in return? Sam already knows. What would I want in return?
Terms, 0%, 1% over however long.
Right, so I did no money down and principal only. So let's do the math on this. Would you rather buy something for $600,000 with no money down, 0% interest, or go get something at $400,000 with 6% interest and 20% down?
No.
Who's winning, right? And so it depends on the deal. Now that goes back to the first question though. You've got to get good at negotiating, and this is where people that learn creative finance, I go to the TTP guys, oh my gosh, I get, 5-10% of my deals from TTP students because they learn how to talk to people and drum up leads, but they don't know what to do with it in order to structure it for the seller. Go ahead.
So on that deal,
Imputed interest.
interest only, do you ever pay that off?
Yeah, it's principal only.
Yeah, not interest only,
Yeah,
principal
so I
only.
don't ever tell the seller, hey, I'm going to give you 0% interest. I always tell the seller, hey, how about we just do principal only payments? I'll give you your number at $600,000. So when I make a payment to him, my payment to that seller is like $7,000 a month on that property. It pays down the principal $7,000. Every payment.
Oh, principal only.
Yeah, principal only. Yeah. Principal only. Now, why would a seller also sell to me on seller finance? This is the advantage, especially when you get into multifamily on the acquisition side, is that when you learn the tax advantages of creative finance, it actually doesn't make sense for a seller to take a cash offer. In fact, I would argue with any long-term real estate investor that wants to retire from their portfolio, they don't have a family to pass it on to, why would they sell it to you for cash? Why should they not?
Tax it.
Tax it. People go, well, they can 1031. Can they 1031 and retire? No, that's the opposite of retiring. They have to 1031 into something larger. That's not what they want. But with seller finance, we can structure and mitigate their capital gains tax on that asset, and they can now get a monthly retirement check. So that's what I did with that mobile home guy. He's like, wait, hold on. So I can get $600,000 and I don't have to pay my capital gains on this right now? I go, nope, you pay as you go. We can stretch it out and you can have write-offs against that money as you receive it. A lot more intense. It's a lot to understand up front for sure. But yeah, you can structure it to where we can pay over retail, but at the end of the day, the 0% makes it way more worth it buying at $350.
Yeah, that side helps a lot. Some people do need the cash or want the cash.
Yes, 100%.
Even though the tax hit.
All right, let's talk about cash flow a little bit and maybe long-term financing along with it. So, Sam, maybe tell us like a bread and butter rental deal, what the cash flow net on that looks like, and some of the terms we're getting on the long-term side, and we'll kick it back over to Pace to see what that looks like.
Yeah, so with the BRRRR method right now, cash flow is a little bit tighter. Now, I'm not as concerned about cash flow. We talked about that today. You should never BRRRRs to quit your job. You need active income. You need a wholesale. You need a flip to get that active income on. Obviously, the cash flow helps. So a standard BRRRR deal is probably going to be anywhere from $150 to $300 a month. So nothing crazy. But the cool thing about the BRRRR method and real estate in general is over time your rent is going to go up quicker than your expenses. So the minimum, if you manage the property well and you set aside money for vacancy and those type of things, your cash flow is only going to grow even as expenses go up. So we ran the math on the last podcast when Ken McElroy, who's a good dude, Pace knows, he took something out of context and was talking about how we don't care as much about cash flow, how that's bad. But we ran the math and cash flow goes up more. Your rent is a higher number. You get a higher growth on rent on a higher number, and you get growth on insurance and taxes and those type of things. So the cash flow is a little bit lower at the beginning with the BRRRR deals right now because interest rates are higher. We just had the most historic rise in interest rates ever in the time period in the history of the United States. So not thinking we're going to get a historic rise every other year. So I think we're going to start to stabilize and go down, and the BRRRR deal will be even better. But you do get more cash flow than you do just day one on the BRRRR deal. So if you're cash flowing $300 now, rough math, 5-6 years down the line, you should be cash flowing $400, maybe $450. So it does go up every single year.
My cash flow on a single family home averages $400 a door, but that's me, right? I would say my average student's probably $100 to $300, very in line with the BRRRR method for sure. Very same thing. And I could not agree with you more. I tell people do not rely on cash flow. Rely on long-term appreciation, loan pay down from your tenants, and most importantly for active income people that have wholesale income, why do we love our rentals?
Tax benefits.
Tax benefits, right? Last 3 years I paid no money in income tax And I've made millions of dollars. And the reason I've done that is because the IRS is like, hey, let me incentivize you. We're horrible at solving affordable housing. Why don't you guys do it? And we'll incentivize you guys with tax benefits. We make way more money on tax benefits than we do cash flow. And so that justifies the hold for the first 5 years. And then what we do, Sam and I are 100% in alignment here. We raise our rents in 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. And that's where you start making like insane, amazing money.
Cool. All right, next let's talk about scaling and what that looks like for BRRRRs, single family rental, and how to build your portfolio quickly, and then we'll kick over to pace on stuff too.
Yeah, with the single family side, I think it's more scalable with the BRRRRs method because I feel like there's more BRRRRs opportunities out there. Again, to go back to my initial point, we buy all our houses off market below retail value, and then we fix them up. And just going into a seller's home, unless you're a master negotiator, which it takes time to build that skill up, you're going to get more deals if you say, I will pay you cash for this, than trying to articulate the subject to and the takeover. So I think if I go out and look at 100 distressed properties that are in the right price point, I think I will be able to close more of them with cash, with the BRRRRs, than trying to pick and choose the ones that make sense, that the seller's willing to let me take over the mortgage, or the seller's willing to create and finance, or they have equity or not. It doesn't really matter. It's their cash and they're done in 2 weeks. So I think that's a potentially, with the right seller, a better pitch than trying to kind of walk around the longer term, having us take over the mortgage.
Hey, so what does it look like to scale a creative finance portfolio?
It's actually not much different than you guys. I mean, you guys have such a good model. It's a great model, right? You have leads that come into the business, and what are we offering first? Always cash, right? We always offer cash first, even in a creative finance business. The reason being is because we want to do what sometimes?
Wholesale it.
We want to wholesale, we want to fix and flip, we want to do the BRRRR when it's appropriate. But for me, what I learned is what I focused on expanded. And so when I'm in an opportunity and I'm talking to a seller, the questions I ask that seller navigate me to where I want that seller to ultimately go. And so that was my job to figure that out. So I chose to scale through creative finance primarily because I just didn't, you guys heard my story 6 years ago, I lost everything, I had nothing. And so I had to go the creative finance route. And so I just focused on it. And as I focused on it, that portion of my business expanded. I see way more opportunities in seller finance and sub 2 than I ever see in BRRRR, but I think it's because I have different optics that I'm wearing. Because I see other people that say the same thing, and then there's people that focus on creative that say the opposite, right? But your model is perfect. Like, I think if anybody's gonna create a model, it would be, I mean, it has to kind of depend on your personality, because Jamil's model is perfect for him. He would never want to do what you and I do, right? So the model that you guys have, leads come in, and then decide what bucket that deal goes into. BRRRR, fix and flip, wholesale, or even creative finance. You got to make a determination, but you do cash first so you can determine what the seller. My best question always when I'm talking to sellers, lead comes in. I don't do a lot of the conversations anymore, neither do you guys. Your team is awesome. Is I would say, why haven't you sold the house so far? What's kept you from selling the house so far? And what are other investors offering you that has kept you from making a decision? So when I'm offering cash, I get to get all this information, and then I make a determination of what my next couple of questions are, and I just typically pivot them to creative finance.
And to piggyback off that, if you haven't been able to tell, you do BRRRRs deals, we do BRRRRs deals, we have creative financing, we have creative financing deals as well. The key is figuring out what you want to focus on, because what you focus on will grow and will expand. So what you want to focus on and what you want to start with is, probably best. But if you want to focus on the creative financing, you're going to start to get those deals. If you want to focus on BRRRRs, you get those deals. The best case scenario is building up your skill set and your team to where you're able to pivot and do multiple exit strategies. When we go into a house, we can do novations, we can do sub 2, we can list it, we can buy it cash, we can do creative financing. So that is the end goal to get to if you want to scale, but it's tough to do that right off the bat. So having the lane to stick in.
I agree with this. We had a great conversation today on the podcast talking about what agents should be doing, especially amidst all this NAR stuff, and talking about how agents should start calling themselves licensed investors and going into these appointments, instead of just saying I want to list, say, hey, I'm partnered with investors as well. I can also partner with you. Just having more options in your toolbox is the best way to go.
Yeah, all right, last chance, boys.
Well, I'll just throw it in on scale because I got it. So, my understanding, what I was able to do, 7 years, we built a wholesale company that spits out over $1 million a month in wholesale fees. So if I was to try to do that in rentals, I wouldn't be able to do that. Not yet. I did that in 7 years. I don't think I'd be able to do that in 7 years in rentals. It would be impossible, where I'd have to be like 10 of me to be able to do that. So for scalability, I think building the wholesale business made the most sense because it spits out the most cash. I was able to replicate that and franchise it across the country and turn it into something that I'll be able to take an exit from. So I do understand that I don't have assets like in homes that are getting mortgage pay down, and that I'm not going to have these, like all the properties and the depreciation that you get, which is amazing because my tax bill every year is like makes me vomit. But at the end of the day, in 10 years, when a hedge fund writes me my $100 million check, I think we'll all be hanging out.
Yeah, you made a good point. It's wealth and scalability is created through equity and assets, whether that be real estate or businesses. Either way, that's how everybody creates their wealth in real estate or business or other type of assets, I guess. And you just chose the business route. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the real estate. That's what's cool about real estate. It can be an investment or you can make a business out of it, which is super cool. All right, Sam, last pitch from the Burr side, and we'll pass it over to Pace.
yeah, no, I think I don't need to take this on too much further, but in general, I love them both. I think it depends on what you want and what your strengths are. Jamil's big on wholesale, and that's his strength, so he did that. You're huge on credit financing because you were kind of forced to do that. We kind of unintentionally forced ourselves to do the Burr deals because we were trying to buy as many rentals as we could to replace Luke's income, and that wasn't the way to do it. You need a wholesale and flip. So I think it's what you focus on grows. I think either one can work, and if you can kind of try to go to a property and have both in mind, that's the best case scenario. I'm just much more familiar with the Burrs, and I feel like I personally can scale much quicker at doing it that way. It has its positives, it has its negatives, but in general, a market like St. Louis and the opportunities you get, you can really grow and scale with the Burrs method. So I would say, the credit financing wholesaling is great, but for me, Burrs is the best strategy, and I think for a lot of people in here, it probably is as well.
Yeah, real estate's like a big box of crayons, right? We all have our own favorite colors, and none of us are wrong. And that's the coolest thing about this room is that there's so many people that have different choices. Like there's some people in here that don't want to have 300 houses. You guys are now starting to get into resorts. Some people are like, dude, I'm going to break out in hives if you tell me I got to manage employees and all that kind of stuff. So people have to figure out what their individual goals are, right? I mean, most people are going to retire literally on 10 to 20 rentals, like be done. You guys are doing that in a quarter, right? I'm doing that in a week. Just kidding. I'm not doing that in a week. I mean, there are weeks where I've done 20 rentals in a week because you can do that with creative finance, but it's so hard to scale teams and all that kind of stuff around that. You got to realize, you got to identify what is your business model. What are you trying to accomplish? Like, you are trying to accomplish world domination. Like, you want to get into local politics. I want to get into local politics. You want to make a difference in your town. Are you going to do that with 20 rentals? No. You got to have a big portfolio. A lot of it, you want to be a big employer in your town. You guys want to bring an MBA team here. You're going to be doing freaking cool stuff and working your guts out for the next 20 years in order to accomplish that goal. Most people in here don't have that as a goal. Some people are like, dude, I just don't want to work ever again. And you can accomplish that by getting 20 rentals from Burr Strategy or from Creative Finance. I will make a final argument about Creative Finance, okay? If I want to be done today, the beautiful thing about Creative Finance is I can go get a 50 unit, 100 unit, a 200 unit multifamily deal today. Like literally today, I can go and find that with Creative Finance, no money out of my pocket, and I'm done. It's the only asset that I have to buy. I don't have to use banks. I can go do seller finance, give the seller great tax benefits. I can also do creative finance with buying businesses. Last year we bought, anybody know The Plant Guy on Instagram? Anybody seen that?
Awesome.
Such a cool company. I bought half of that business with no money out of pocket. They do $5 million a year in revenue. I got an email today from my CFO. We bought the company, no money out of pocket. I'm 50% owner, and I got a check this month for $47,000 out of that company.
Let's go.
I do no work at all. All we did was fix his back-end accounting, and we took over half of his business. You can't do that with a Burr Strategy. But you can build a badass business like these boys have. I'm super impressed by your whole operation. Like, dude, you guys are freaking so cool. It is so fun to watch your operation, and you're like literally every person I've met on your team, you have obviously attracted them because you've taken all the talent, put it right here. You guys have done a great job. Give it up for
Let's go, yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, but forget that. Let's give it up for these guys right here.
They're going to come to town again, and we're going to give them the St. Louis treatment, though. We're going to take them to Union Station, show them all the cool stuff. So they're flying out tomorrow, literally at 6 a.m. the flight leaves. So it was a quick trip for them. But we're going to have them back, and we'll try to time it so they
I do love that you guys are honest about the fact that you are actually the gateway to freedom and not freedom. Sorry.
Can I do a shameless plug real fast?
do it. Well, I got to do one more for them, too. So go ahead.
Okay, cool. So tomorrow, something really cool. Does anybody know who Charlie Rocket is?
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie Rocket is so cool. He's been my hero for 4 or 5 years. He was 2 Chainz producer. He's won Grammys, big rap producer. He like put Soulja Boy on the map. He finds out he has a brain tumor, and he gets out of the music business because of it. And survives the brain tumor, and he says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna spend the rest of my life making other people's dreams come true. So he bought a van, or not a van, a big ass RV, and he travels the country and he makes people's dreams come true. Tomorrow, we're doing a nationwide charity drive, basically called a Million Acts of Kindness. Okay, so if you go to millionactsofkindness.com, everybody in our real estate community is getting together, 13,000 people nationwide, and we're just doing nice things for people. Opening doors, buying flowers, giving lunch to homeless people. I shouldn't be saying homeless people, unsheltered people. I'm learning the vernacular.
It's actually unhoused.
Is it unhoused? Okay. See, I'm learning things every day. I have the link on my Instagram stories. It costs no money, but everybody's getting together. Like, we're gonna be in Atlanta tomorrow. People will be going from Maine all the way to Alaska at the exact same time zone, spending 2 hours together, running around the town, and just doing nice things for people. So join us. We'll be on like Instagram stories and having a blast doing it.
And take part yourselves if you have the opportunity tomorrow. Please just get out. Even form a group from people that you meet tonight and go do that. It means something.
Well, now I feel real shallow pitching our event after that, but the more money you make, the more money you can give back. So anyways, just real quickly, we do have our first Freedom Fest event here, May 9th and 10th. 50% off if you want to come. That's 2 days in this building. It's us and our team. It's going to be a small group of people. We're going to walk through a specific game plan for you with the booklet and everything of how to get you the ball rolling in real estate. So if you're interested in that, scan the QR code and definitely take part in tomorrow.
Awesome. That's it for the formal side. Pace, what do you want the rest of this night to look like for you?
Okay, so should we try and find everybody's needs and wants and all that kind of stuff tonight, or what?
Let's do it.
What do you guys think? How long are we hanging out for? Another hour or so?
Yeah, till 8 we got it. Or we can.
The owner's gonna cut us out in an hour and 20 minutes?
No, we're good. We got time.
Okay, cool. I usually will stand outside. I just love the cold air. And I'll go stand outside and hang out, but I'd like to meet as many of you guys as humanly possible. But what I would be doing is, before you go home tonight, you've got to ask everybody, you've got to ask 5 people. This is what typically my goal is. 5 people. What's the question I'm asking people?
What do you need?
What do you have and what do you need? Right? Like you have an event coming up in October, right?
Right.
See, I asked you what you had earlier, and I remembered.
Yep.
Okay, so when people are like, hey, I want to go to an event in October, that's what they say. They go, I got a need, bro. I got to be in an event in October. I'm going to point them right over to you, right? Okay, so the goal is meet 5 people tonight. You ask that question, what do you have, what do you need? I would also challenge yourself. This will be fun. You know what the hardest part about real estate is? What do you guys think the hardest part about real estate is?
Picking one thing.
Oh! Such a good answer. Real estate has so many ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is not real estate is so hard, it's that there's too many ways to succeed. You'll talk to one person and you walk away going, damn, I should be doing that. Talk to another person, damn, I should be doing that. And here we are, 3 different business owners with 3 different models to a certain degree, and you'll walk away a little bit confused, right? I would ask people as you're communicating tonight, like, hey, what's your business model for the next year? What are you doing to make money in real estate? Let's have those conversations tonight and just hang out. I'll be outside, and if you guys want to take photos of Jamil, I'll take photos for you. But Jamil and I will typically stand outside, we'll take photos and hang out and just shake hands with everybody. And thank you guys for coming. And Sam, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, like, amazing. Thank you.
Real quick, last thing.